Those were the headlines, and we start with 2014. The 2014 election bugle has been sounded as Election Commission announces dates of the crucial Lok Sabha elections this year. Elections will be held in 9 phases across the country from April the 7th to May the 12th. The counting will take place on a single day for all 543 seats in play on May the 16th. With the poll dates, the Model Code of Conduct for governments and political parties has also come into force with immediate effect from today. More than 814 crore voters are expected to exercise their ballot this year, which is 10 crore more voters. Governments and political parties has also come into force with immediate effect from today. More than 814 crore voters are expected to exercise their ballot this year, which is 10 crore more voters than the last general elections held in 2009. Remember, the term of the current Lok Sabha expires on June the 1st, and the new house has to be constituted by May the 31st. An important feature of this year's polls would be the introduction of paper trail system for electronic voting in some constituencies on a trial basis. Another first in the Lok Sabha elections in 2014 will be the introduction of the none of the above option, which came into effect in the assembly elections held a few months ago.
No, I don't agree with you. Election Commission should be involved in the monitoring of this manifesto. The manifesto, we have given a circular as per direction of our Supreme Court only a few weeks back. Manifesto should be an objective, a mission of a particular party or candidate. So it should be done in a manner, and let people of this country judge who is doing the what kind of manifesto, and let them decide the country.
In 9 poll days, we will be covering 543 parliamentary constituencies. Counting for all these shall take place on 16th May.
ये जो 2014 का चुनाव है, ये एक विचारात्मक लड़ाई है, और उस विचारात्मक लड़ाई में जो कांग्रेस पार्टी है, कांग्रेस पार्टी के प्रचार की अगुवाई श्री राहुल गांधी जी, श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह करेंगे, और दूसरी तरफ से भारतीय जनता पार्टी या अन्य दलों के नेता अपने प्रचार की अगुवाई करेंगे.
The BJP under the leadership of Narendra Modi is surely going to tell the base with all the voters to ensure that yes, the election will be fought on corruption, on price rise, on inflation, on unemployment, on great sense of insecurity, and those who are scared of the popularity of Narendra Modi and the BJP will try to drag the failed card of secular communal divide. India has travelled much beyond. They are really looking for a Congress Mukt Bharat.
में समय में क्यों चुनाव कराया गया, इसको और कम समय में कराया जा सकता था, लेकिन ये तो इलेक्शन कमीशन का अपना विवेकाधिकार है, उन्होंने उस अधिकार का इस्तेमाल किया है.
नहीं, हम पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं संग्राम के लिए, और हम वेट कर रहे थे कि कब चुनाव की तारीखों की घोषणा होती है और हम काम को लगते हैं.
चुनाव के समय सारिणी का हम निश्चित रूप से स्वागत करते हैं और हम इस चुनाव के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं.
पार्टी की तैयारियां तो चुनाव कितने भी चरणों में क्यों ना होते, लेकिन ये इलेक्शन कमीशन का एक फैसला है, और बस यही हम प्रार्थना करते हैं जन समुदाय से कि शांतिपूर्वक चुनाव हो.
हम तो तैयार हैं इलेक्शन के लिए, हम हमेशा तैयार रहते हैं. हम तो 5 साल से तैयार हैं, कभी भी होता है, और स्वागत है इलेक्शन का. आप मुझे बताइए कि कौन से केंद्र का मंत्री जिसके खिलाफ कोई भी करप्शन चार्ज है, आप एक का नाम दे दीजिए, मैं इस्तीफा दे दूंगा. कोई मंत्री पिछले 10 सालों में कांग्रेस का जो केंद्र सरकार में मंत्री है, इसके खिलाफ किसी के खिलाफ भी कोई करप्शन चार्ज नहीं है. लेकिन ये मीडिया फिर भी उठाता रहता है और वो बात नहीं करता जो 7 इनके मंत्री जेल में बैठे हुए हैं.
Once we know the constituencies and the numbers, I mean, that will only be a little time by the time it will be figured out. Then we can work out if, some changes are required or some specific requests are needed. But in a state like Tripura, for instance, where the left is concerned, once we know the constituencies and the numbers, I mean, that will only be a little time by the time it will be figured out. Then we can work out if, some changes are required or some specific requests are needed. I think we are fairly satisfied with the fact that the Election Commission has taken into account all the possibilities. It has also made announcements in terms of the deployment of observers and given out, I think, an extremely strict warning to the officials.
अब आम आदमी पार्टी ने 2014 का चुनाव देश के अंदर भ्रष्टाचार हटाओ, बेईमान हटाओ, ईमानदार लाओ, ये राजनीति कर रही है और इसके मुद्दे को लेकर चुनाव में उतर रही है और वो व्यवस्था परिवर्तन की बात कर रही है। और आप देखिएगा इस बार के 2014 का चुनाव देश के इतिहास में याद किया जाएगा।
Atish Srivastava joins us on the phone line. Atish, this is one of the biggest electoral exercises in the world, a 71-day period during which elections will be held in 9 phases. Most political parties, the national ones anyway, are completely okay with it. The Samajwadi Party, the only one coming out and criticizing. The left also has problems with it, but Samajwadi Party fears, and they've warned us that social tensions could peak.
Well, this is going to be the biggest exercise which the Election Commission has conducted of late, because this is a 9-phase election. We've seen most of the parties are ready with their preparation, but there are parties who have an objection of extended phases. They clearly say that they can have an influence on other phases. Well, you have 6 phases of UP election, you have 6 phases in Bihar elections. So there are causes of concern, but yes, they've said that this has to be an exercise because you have almost 10 crores new voters, the size of the electorate have increased, so there are certain issues which needs to be handled. Security is something which is very, very important and is a major concern for Election Commission. So that is why they have an extended phase of election. But this election is going to be very important. It's not probably about parties more, it's about the personalities like Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, Arvind Kejriwal, and Jayalalitha and Nitish Kumar. These are very, very important regional parties which also will play an important and prominent role.
The model code of conduct, Atish, in place, in effect from today, in fact, and the Election Commission has always been extremely strict about that leading up to any general elections. That, of course, also keeping in mind this election, the Congress says will be fought on ideology. The BJP has, in fact, the advantage right now as an anti-incumbency wave will harm the Congress. We seem to have lost the connection with Atish. We'll try and get back to him in just a while. There you see on your screens right now, this election, many people say, will be decided in the heart of India, the Hindi heartland, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Many seats coming in from there, and that's where the battle will be. And as my colleague just mentioned, Atish Srivastava, it will also be an election about personalities and larger-than-life personalities, people like Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, and of course the regional satraps, the regional strong men and women who control or can control the fate of the incoming Lok Sabha, the 16th Lok Sabha, in fact, that has to be constituted by May the 31st. Remember, this term of this parliament will end on June the 1st. The Chief Election Commissioner had not yet finalized announcing dates for the Lok Sabha elections, but the agenda for the political war was already set. It's the secular card played by Rahul Gandhi versus the development plank of Narendra Modi and the anti-corruption platform of Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party. And so, the lieutenants of each of the big three fired their first salvos today. Listen in.
Sectarian, communal and a fundamentalist vision, which is really encapsulated in the ideological disposition of the principal opposition party.
Yes, the election will be fought on corruption, on price rise, on inflation, on unemployment, on great sense of insecurity.
मोदी के खिलाफ जिस तरह से देश भर के भ्रष्टाचारी लोग इकट्ठा हो रहे हैं, तो मोदी के खिलाफ और तेजी से लड़ाई बढ़ेगी। राहुल तो खत्म है, आउट ऑफ रेंज है, उनसे लड़ना क्या है?
There you go. Atish Srivastava rejoins us now. Atish, every major political force in the country has their own idea of what the agenda for 2014 is. It's honesty and corruption for the AAP. It's development and an anti-Congress front for the BJP. And the Congress says it's an ideology issue. All of them have their own idea, but the BJP, of course, has an advantage. Perhaps a slight one, perhaps a bigger one. But right now, an anti-incumbency feeling is, visible across the country.
In a government for 10 years in this center, and they like to capitalize on that particular fact. And that's why, if you carefully notice, BJP's entire campaign is about the faults of UPA2, is about the bad governance of UPA2 and the corruption in UPA2. But with Narendra Modi at the chief of campaign, He is now the prime ministerial face of the BJP. Polarization is something which you cannot really avoid. You cannot really avoid what happened in Godha Rise. That is why Congress leaders they keep coming back to this entire topic of secularism versus communalism. You have Rahul Gandhi taking on Narendra Modi clearly and saying that do you want a person to head the country which makes a particular minority feel alienated. So they are coming out with statements that BJP is coming in full defense of Narendra Modi. They're coming out and saying that they just want to divert. They don't want to talk about corruption and other price, right?
All right, the grand war bugle has been sounded. Many thanks, Atish Srivastava, for joining us on that story. Now, even